Hello, beautiful, sensitive, soulful one. In today's video, I want to read you a excerpt from my channeled book, By Way of the Light, which is really written to help starseeds or emissaries of light to finally really get their work out into the world and to thrive. This message is a continuation of last week's message about guarding your time and energy. That's the chapter it's from. But I wanted to go deeper on this because I know for me, okay, I'll just speak for myself. I have held myself back from the full expansion of my work in the world and the full visibility of what I'm capable of because I don't want to say no to people and let them down when they desire to connect with me personally. And this has been truly an ongoing struggle because part of my energy configuration, and I think this is true of almost all of the light workers that I've known, although I think it's much easier if you're naturally extroverted, is that people connect with me and they feel close with me, and then they want to have a one-on-one connection, but they feel friendship when I don't actually have the capacity to maintain a lot of friendships. I have a few friendships, I have a few close relationships, but I'm not really looking for more friendships. And so when the moment comes where they want to connect with me one-on-one and I say no, they feel rejected, and it has a negative impact on our connection and our relationship. So in this channeled message, I am getting some feedback about how it is draining for me to end up in these one-on-one connections where usually I'm just listening and there for the other person, and it's not really reciprocal where they're listening to me and I genuinely feel like I want to be connecting with them as a friend where I'm leaning on them too. So the message is, in your essence, you are a teacher, not a counselor. You are a messenger, not a listener. It's draining for you to listen because it is showing you that you're off course. When your insides are screaming no, it's because it's a no. Do we really need to say more about this? Do you really need more to give yourself permission to be what you are? How do you feel when someone else honors themselves and how they are by telling you that they're not available? So I thought about it. It's like, well, how do I feel if someone says no to me? Like if I reach out and I want to connect with someone who's maybe a mentor or a teacher or just a really cool person that I want to get to know more. I respect them and I hold them in high regard. And this has happened to me many times in my life where I've wanted to reach out to someone and they just didn't reciprocate. Sometimes I feel bad about myself that I'm not good enough for them to want to spend time with. And then here's a response. It's not a matter of whether a person is good enough or not. It's a matter of what stage they're at. In the beginning of the awakening process, it is as though a person is drowning. They have a great need. They're operating in a completely new landscape. What was up is now down. What was down is now up. It's very confusing and disorienting. At those moments, they are grasping. They feel like they need someone else to understand the landscape they're in. You can provide that help and guidance to navigate. You just aren't meant to be doing that one-on-one unless a person has plenty of money and wants to pay, $20,000 to your foundation, for example. In that case, it would be worth it for you to use your gifts for that purpose. Otherwise, if you devote your energy to listening at that stage, they can suck you in like a vortex. This is because their need at that stage is so great. There is so much that is unresolved and unprocessed from childhood. There's so much of their story that needs to be understood. There is so much to grok. And grok they must if they want to find inner peace, stillness, and wellness. But you cannot help them with that. It's a process of years that lays ahead of them. It's a journey, an inner journey, a path of one to walk. You can share your story of what you did. You can point the way. You can write, but you cannot be there to hold their hand. It is too much for you and diverts your life force away from your task at hand. Be grateful. Be grateful to yourself that you are where you are. Be grateful that you've processed so much and that you took the time, energy, and money that it took to support yourself through the other side. Notice how your teachers, friends, and way showers created distance from you too. Notice how they created boundaries to protect themselves while you were in your times of highest need. And then I was able to just really think of a bunch of examples of how this had unfolded. And I've just had a recent experience of this where someone wanted to have a one-on-one conversation with me to resolve something that happened in one of my group containers, and I did not give that person my time, and they were personally offended by that and hurt. And it's not an enjoyable experience to, have these kinds of conflicts and, to be involved in making someone else feel uncomfortable. But one of the things it's shown me, and I do see this happens in a dynamic with extroverted people also, is extroverted people like having conversations with people one-on-one. They want to connect, whereas I prefer to be alone and to be, with my few people. And just, I prefer to have my conversations that are with my clients to be a paid exchange. And so when people come in interacting with me with a certain expectation and I don't meet it, then they can have feelings about that. But detaching from that and learning to just truly honor my energy configuration, how I'm made, how I truly feel. I didn't want to have that conversation with that person. I was open to resolving it through an email. I said what I needed to say, and that was over for me. So honoring myself is essential in order for me to have the impact that I know that I'm here to make in this world. I see a lot of emissaries of light hold themselves real small, only interacting with a few people so that they don't end up ever having to say no and hurt people. But if you really look at yourself and say, how do you feel when people say no to you? How do you feel when people honor themselves and honor their energy configuration in order to allow themselves to have well-being? I fucking love it. I celebrate people for honoring themselves. I want them to say no to me. So if if you have that same feeling, sometimes it stings, sometimes it's like, ouch, but I still respect them and I don't ditch them because they have a boundary. So if you honor other people, why can't other people honor you? And why can't you maintain a lot of relationships with people and, share yourself in your fullest with all the people that you're here to touch, and just trust that you do not need to have a one-on-one connection with everyone. People are going to be okay without that. And the people that aren't okay without that, they simply are not meant to be in your world because they can't honor you as you are. So let me know how today's message resonates. If you are a spiritual woman who's holding yourself back from the full extent of your light in this world and you know it, please get in touch with me. Book a one-on-one conversation about joining my Freedom to Launch Creator Circle. It's an incredible space for helping you get your work out to all of the people that you're here to reach and to bring your soul's mission into full expression. Thank you, and I will see you again soon here on my channel. Much love. Bye.